Now, the best was probably kept for the last. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Australia for the last leg of his tour, and the Indian diaspora has welcomed the Prime Minister with cheers and a huge roar. The visuals on your screens are coming from just moments after his address to the Indian diaspora in Sydney. And during his speech, Narendra Modi announced that a new Indian consulate will be constructed in Australia's Brisbane city. He has also emphasized on stronger India-Australia ties. He thanked Albanese for attending the event with him, to which the Australian counterpart referred to the Indian Prime Minister as the boss. Now, our principal diplomatic correspondent Sadan Sibul is joining us live from Ground Zero. Sadan, if you can hear me, we just saw another show of power by the Indian diaspora, this time in Sydney, of course. How are you gauging the reaction on the ground?
PM Modi is the boss. That's the message by Australian Prime Minister, and that is going to stick for a long time. I'm still in the stadium where the Prime Minister has just left and the diaspora is present in full force. Let us try to speak to some of the members of the diaspora. Sir, would you like to speak to us? How do you see the Prime Minister's speech? He just concluded his speech and left.
It was wonderful, certainly. He mentioned about all the achievements of India in the last couple of years, apart from the cooperation which India and Australia will be increasing. The last message was certainly wonderful. If we can get one Australian people every year with us to India, that was something really wonderful to take away. So that will help us to share our culture and everything.
Ma'am, the Prime Minister made an important announcement saying that India will open its consulate in Brisbane. Your first reaction to this?
I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be good for the local people who are staying there. They have to travel all the way to Sydney, so it is really going to help them for sure.
Really going to help them is the word when it comes to the Brisbane announcement. There are more members of the Indian diaspora. Would you like to speak to us? How do you see Indian Prime Minister's address here?
I think it's really pride for us, and it was very, we are a big fan of the Indian Prime Minister of Narendra Modi. We love to see them as many as we can. I think we are a big fan of him. Love you, Narendra Modi. Thank you very much.
If my camera person can pan and show the number of people who are present here, approximately 20,000 people are present. In fact, many of them are now leaving just to get their snacks. Let's speak to more and more members of the Indian diaspora. Ma'am, would you like to speak to us? Any comments when it comes to the entire the speech made by the Indian Prime Minister?
It was an excellent speech, and we got some insights into what's going to transpire, the collaboration and all those agreements, the deals and all that. So it's all good news. So we look forward to that.
Okay, good news. You would like to add something, sir?
Yes, we are very happy that Modi ji has come to a place like Sydney for us, and we are very happy about all the things Modi ji is doing for our country. We are proud of him. We love him. Har Har Modi. Gar Gar Modi.
As a research scientist, this is a pretty good one. I'm sure that in the area of research and development, this would be a stepping stone ahead for a strategic alliance between Australia and India, so that we can take a good development further for next decade and upcoming decades until 2047.
So a lot of positive comments regarding the speech made by the Indian Prime Minister, and of course we know that there have been such events in the past and there have been important announcements. One of course was the change in the name essentially when it comes to Harris Park, which is an area which had a lot of Indians present, but more and more Indian Australians are coming. Sir, would you like to, ma'am, would you like to speak to us about the address made by the Indian Prime Minister?
Yeah, sure. We are glad that we got chance to see Narendra Modi live, and we are very happy about it. Thank you so much.
And you are accompanied by your family here?
Yeah, I'm here with my family. My entire family and friends are here, and we enjoyed the night today.
Let's try to speak to other members of the Indian diaspora who are present here. Would you like to speak to us on the address made by the Indian Prime Minister? He made a lot of announcements as well. How do you see the announcements made by the Prime Minister?
Sorry, what was your question?
My question is, how do you see the speech by the Indian Prime Minister here at the diaspora event?
Oh, it was wonderful. Very, very good experience. Very wonderful speech. I hope he comes again next time.
The place is still packed and there's a lot of chanting still, so there's a lot of commotion to use the word, but a positive one. There are more members of the diaspora. Ma'am, would you like to talk about the speech made by the Indian Prime Minister and especially the announcement made regarding the opening up of the Indian consulate in Brisbane?
I was so inspired, honestly, for someone like, Narendra Modi ji to come. Should I come up? Yeah, for him, for the Prime Minister to actually tell every single thing where India is economically, he said like for so many things, India is first, second. That was so inspiring. Usually when I was growing up, I used to always think, why can't India be like another, Western country? But this one, when he tells, it brings up so much pride in us, okay? And he has really thought that, okay, there's a lot of Indian population in Brisbane, so he has opened up the consulate. So that's a really good decision. Thanks.
Proud to be an Indian. Perhaps your shirt speaks more than perhaps you will be speaking, but how do you see the speech of the Indian Prime Minister?
Oh, absolutely delighted. I think it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Being a big Modi fan, it's so proud to be an Indian. In so many areas, the development that has happened in the last 10 years has been absolutely astonishing. And I really like the ask that Modi actually made of bringing one Australian mate back to India when we visit the country. I think it'll develop tourism in India, it'll develop India's image globally, so I really appreciate that as well. Yeah.
A lot of appreciation by the members of the diaspora here when it comes to the speech made by the Indian Prime Minister. Essentially, we know that there are a lot of Indian diaspora members here in Australia, and they play an important role in connecting the people of India and people of Australia. In fact, there are a number of Indian Australians who are playing an important part in the Australian society, including one highlighted by the Indian Prime Minister saying that how amid the COVID crisis, the gurdwaras and the temples were opened so that they can help the people who were impacted by the COVID pandemic. Back to the studio.
Absolutely, Siddhant. Thank you for getting us all those live reactions just after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Indian diaspora in Sydney, of course. People seem very happy, especially with the announcement of the Indian consulate that is going to open in Brisbane shortly.